Alex Marlow has written that battle plan. It's called Breaking the Law, exposing the weaponization of America's legal system against Donald J. Trump, in which President Trump on the cover says it's a must read. So, Alex, you just heard Harrison, both with the BBC and then on the War Room down in Austin. Your thoughts, sir?
Steve, think about this when you joined up with Breitbart. Well, when was it? 12 years ago or so. And Andrew's there, and Andrew is fighting to try to make conservatives cool and fun and make sure that we're not scolds. And now we got Sydney Sweeney in the jeans, and the left is like, you guys take her. And we're like, okay, that sounds great. And then now we've got the Republican establishment is completely irrelevant here. And you got guys like Brian out there going on BBC, and the BBC saying, well, isn't this unfair that we're gerrymandering? And then Brian just goes, I don't care. I literally don't care at all. I got elected to serve a constituency of people, and they want this, and I'm going to deliver it for them. And anyone who's not with me is no longer a part of the core Republican movement. That's the answer we wanted. We've been dreaming of this, and now it's here. We're fighting now, and we're fighting with a smile on our faces. It couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. This is what Andrew's always dreamed of. It just, and we're playing Smash Mouth. Talk to me about the book. The book sets the battle plan here of what the environment is. You make specific recommendations, but you also frame this that it's kind of one-stop shop. People can get up to speed on exactly what these different verticals are. Walk me through it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Steve. And you had a great quote last night on your show where you called it a primer, and it is that. That's partially what it is, and where I started was just no one's really pieced together these cases. There were 6 key cases against Trump. He had to win all these cases. He didn't have to win them, but he'd at least survive them while he was running for president from a courthouse because of massive election interference that was controlled from the top, from the Joe Biden White House, blatantly illegal, needs to be investigated, and we need to start seeing some heads roll over this thing. However, no one can really even sort out the 6 cases in their head. Julie Kelly can, but most people can't do this. And I tried to write something so that people could actually understand the extent of the lawfare, the extent that is connected to the other hoaxes of our time. One of the things that I really wanted to highlight to you and the posse on the show today was the Stormy Daniels case, the one case that ended in convictions, criminal convictions for Trump, never should have happened. The reason why that case ended up in a conviction was because of the Russian collusion hoax. Michael Cohen was a key subject of the Russiagate investigation. The government was able to get access to his Gmail account, the Justice Department, and the special counsel from Robert Mueller's investigation. All of this started with the Russiagate hoax. If there is no Russiagate hoax, there is no Stormy Daniels conviction, which, by the way, we got to throw out all those convictions on that front. But the point is, no one understands the interconnectivity of all of the lawfare. It is from a superstructure. It's a massive apparatus. I explained the apparatus, who funds it, what they're doing now, how it's connected to the Boasbergs of the world. This is their only way to stop the MAGA agenda right now, and they're working 24/7 right now to do it.
Here's the thing: the Republican establishment. So many of those are lawyers and tied into these big law firms. They are particularly hesitant. You see this in the Bill Barrs of the world. This is an area they're particularly hesitant to get involved in, and you can see this down in Texas. What's happening right now? Walk me through that. This is the most important area for Democrats. It's the tip. It's where they're really their weapons are pointed at us. Downrange, right at us. Yet the intellectual legal elite of the by and large, right, of the Republican Party doesn't want to touch this. You get the Mike Davises, you get the Borises, you get the Harrisons, you get the fighters. But the white shoe Republicans don't want to touch that. Why is that?
Yeah, but it's because of all the money. It's because they've taken all these loans, they've gone through the system, and then now finally they can make some money, and they're not going to be welcomed in polite society if they take on jobs for President Trump or connected to the conservative movement. And it takes bravery, it takes bold leaders right now. I like you talking about you being the hero. You got to think yourself as a main character in this. And attorneys, conservative attorneys, have to stand up, have their voices heard right now, because there's a massive effort to blackball conservative attorneys, people who work for Trump and help President Trump. And we're not just talking about keeping you out of the best firms. We're talking about making it so that you might not even be able to practice law at all. They look for ways to disbar you. They look for ways to make sure that you're not welcome anywhere. And this is a massive problem with the legal infrastructure and the superstructure that they built. And it is a real threat because we need the best attorneys as well. But that's why people need to stand up. Cancel culture was a phase. We're blowing past it. And the legal world is going to have to deal with that right now.
Alex, can you hang on for a moment? I want to keep you through the top of the hour.
Whatever you
We've got. General Flynn is also going to join us, but I need to keep Alex Marlow around. You've got to get this book. One more time before you end this segment, the top of the hour, I want to know where people can go get the book, where they can get all your writings, where they get access to you and access to this amazing primer on this war that we're fighting now.
Thank you. Thank you. Breaking the Law's out now, released yesterday, and I appreciate the plug, Steve. It's really kind of you, but I think that this is a book that I wrote. It needed to be written because I think this thing can really help the Republic, because this is the #1 threat to MAGA. This book is a warning. It's not just a history lesson. This is a warning about what's going on right now as we speak, connecting the dots, and calls to action for all of you. We need the grassroots to get behind the effort to try to be engaged and involved 24/7. We cannot sleep. We are at war right now.
Alex Marlow. So, Alex, we got the Texas situation, but there's something happening, and I think it's in South Florida or somewhere in Florida, also in Washington, D.C. So you have the House investigations and you have the criminal aspects of this, right? How important is it for us to stick the landing on these two? Because this ain't going to be, if you read your book, you get the joke. This is not going to stop until we make it stop, sir.
Yeah, we have to make it stop. And how are you going to make it stop if no one's held to account? One of the fundamental issues with MAGA, promises made, promises kept. There are two tiers of justice in this country. I know you're going to have General Flynn on. There's a tier of justice for you, Steve, and a tier of justice for General Flynn. And then there's others for Hillary Clinton. There's others for James Comey, Brennan, Clapper. These guys got TV deals and book deals instead of getting handcuffs. Why is that? Because there really are two tiers of justice in this country. And the public is not going to go with that. People who are new to the coalition, people who maybe thought of themselves as populist Democrats, maybe are young people who never voted before, but maybe voted for President Trump last time. Unless they start seeing evidence that the bad guys who have been harming this country for the last several decades are held to account, then how are they going to trust us? They're not going to trust us. This is a trust-building exercise, restoring law and order in this country. The left hates law and order. That's an opportunity for us. That's an opportunity for us to be the stewards of the Constitution, to try to restore sanity at our border. It's all in the same vein. They don't believe law and order matters because all they care about is political victory. That's a lesson. We need to internalize that. All they're trying to do is to beat us. That's why they take you off the battlefield. They take a Dr. Navarro off the battlefield. They're just trying to win. And once you see that fundamentally, that we're letting them win by not prosecuting, no perp walks, no handcuffs, if we don't accept that that is playing into their hands, then we completely miss the plot.
Why is your book the best primer for this, sir? Why should this audience and everything else they got going on, why should they purchase it? Why should they read it? Why should they take notes? Why should they come and ask questions, get into the chats, get access to you on your radio show? Why is this, with everything else going on, why this book and why now?
Thank you. And thanks for mentioning my show. I am podcasting now, the Alex Marlow Show, so you guys can get that wherever you get your favorite podcast. The two answers to that, Steve. First of all, I try to write in a way that's accessible. I'm not an attorney. I'm not trying to write for some sort of elite audience. I'm trying to translate very complicated information to a readable, digestible. There are parts of the book that I think are actually funny. You'll actually be laughing. Some of the E. Jean Carroll stuff, it's so absurd. If you're not laughing during it, you and I do not have the same sense of humor. Even as horrible as the things that were done to President Trump, it actually comes off as funny sometimes. So I'm trying to make it so that's enjoyable for you to get this really important information. But the last portion of the book is a call to arms for this audience. And this is why I reached out to you, Steve. I said this. I only reached out to two hosts and said specifically, I want to be on your shows. You're one of those two because of the posse. Because here's the bottom line. If we don't get all the perp walks and all the handcuffs that we need and that we deserve, and justice is fully served, and I get cynical about this stuff. I don't expect everything I want here. The only way we're going to win this long term is if the grassroots is fully engaged, if they stay on a wartime footing 24/7, if you don't wait just for national elections once every 4 years or once every 2 years to go vote. No, this responsibility to save this republic is a 24/7, 365 battle. And if we make the mistake of playing it cool right now, acting like we're in victory mode because Trump won, that's where we're going to lose ground, because they're working now to defeat us. They've got terrible ideas. They've got not charismatic people. We've got the best ideas. We've got the strongest movement. But we've got to maintain that energy and that focus and get to the polls. People have got to vote and win. Pick the best guys. Demand the most from the people who you've elected. And that's a constant effort for diligence and vigilance. That's why you're such a great leader in this part of the movement, Steve. And that's why I think it's important for your audience.
Okay, Alex, where do they get the book and where do they get everything about your podcast ratings, all of it?
Thank you. Breitbart.com is the place to go for all the news. Alex Marlow Show podcast, daily news podcast, and Breaking the Law wherever you get books. Amazon's fine with me. If you don't like it, Books A Million, but it should be on shelves as of yesterday.